Sky Broadband have recently begun shipping their Max Hub router on all of their full fibre broadband plans. So if you're considering buying Sky Broadband, you might be wondering whether the Max Hub router is any good. In this video, we reviewed the Sky Max Hub to see how it performs in the real world, so you can decide whether Sky Broadband is right for you. But before we begin, if you're considering buying Sky Broadband, make sure to click the link in the description to come to their broadband deals page on their website. Just put in your postcode and you'll be able to see all of the different broadband deals you can get from Sky at the moment and their pricing to see if they offer good value for money when you're watching this. Getting set up with the Sky Max Hub was pretty easy. All you need to do is use the supplied Ethernet cable to connect the router to your phone line or your full fibre port, and then plug the router in using the included power brick. From this point, the router will set itself up and create a Wi-Fi hotspot you can get online with. This whole process took about 5 minutes for us. It was pretty straightforward. Once it's up and running, you can connect to Wi-Fi using the login details printed on the base of the router. It's worth noting, if you're switching to full fibre broadband for the first time, Sky might need to send an engineer out to your address, and in this case, they'll probably set up the Max Hub for you, so you don't need to worry about any of this. Although it is an easy process if you have to do it yourself, which will probably be the case if you're switching from another OpenReach full fibre broadband provider, like BT's 500 megabit plan for example. So similar to EE and Virgin Media's routers, the Sky Max Hub is a bit locked down when it comes to what settings you can change, and other configuration adjustments. The main one is you can't set up custom DNS on the router. You'll have to do it by device, because the router is locked to Sky's DNS servers. Also, like most other major broadband providers, Sky has an app these days, which you need to use to manage certain settings. For example, parental controls are hidden away in this app. We personally just prefer it if everything is available in the router's admin interface that you log in through your web browser, so you don't have to download different apps, and you can manage everything in one place. But this isn't very common these days. EE and Virgin Media Broadband do the same thing on their routers. The other issue with the Sky app is we found it is quite bloated, just because there's a lot of different things that they've designed it to do. For example, they've loaded information about Sky TV onto this app, meaning for us at least, the installation size was quite big. It's just not a very lightweight app. Fortunately though, you might be able to get away with not using this, depending on what you want to configure on the router. Apart from the lack of custom DNS, the configuration options on the Sky Max Hub are pretty good. Most things you want, like port forwarding, firewall rules, and changing wireless network settings, are all there and are pretty intuitive to use. The Sky Max Hub performs pretty well when it comes to Wi-Fi coverage. It's a big upgrade on Sky's old routers, as well as many of the routers that companies like BT and PlusNet are shipping at the moment. The Sky Max Hub comes with Wi-Fi 6, while some other providers' routers, like the BT Smart Hub 2, are still stuck on Wi-Fi 5. Wi-Fi 6 is a better standard that offers faster speeds and better coverage. We tested the Sky Max Hub in a medium-sized house, and we were able to get really good coverage, no matter where we were, as long as we were indoors, with a signal strength of at least 3 bars, as indicated by Windows. We never had any issues with dropouts, and our latency over Wi-Fi was pretty good as well. We've used older Wi-Fi 5 routers in this house before, and had some issues some of the time at the furthest points from the router. But with the Sky Max Hub, we get really good Wi-Fi coverage, without using any mesh Wi-Fi systems, or Wi-Fi extenders, or anything like that. If you have a really big house, like 5 bedrooms or more, or it's sort of a funny shape, like 3 stories with a loft conversion or something like that, you might want mesh Wi-Fi just to bridge the distance, especially if you can't install your Max Hub somewhere central. Like, it's pretty common you'll have to install it by the front door, where your broadband port comes in. This was fine for us, in a pretty decent sized house, but if you have 3 stories or something like that, you might want a mesh Wi-Fi system, just to ensure you get good coverage, no matter where you are in the house. Remember, click the link in the description to come to the Sky Broadband website to see which of their deals they're offering the Max Hub on at the moment, and what their prices are like. At the moment, they're labeling it Advanced Hub, so if you click this here, it pops up and then clarifies that you do get the Max Hub when you buy this deal. We're very happy with the speeds we get with the Sky Max Hub. Anywhere sort of close to the router, we get the full speed from our connection over Wi-Fi, even when there's obstacles in the way, like internal walls, which is great to see. Our speeds only drop off at the furthest points from the router, normally to about 3/4 or sometimes half of our maximum speed that we're paying for. But this is still plenty of speed for us, and our speed never drops when lots of devices get on Wi-Fi at the same time. So overall, we're really happy with the speed and Wi-Fi performance of this router. The one downside of the Max Hub is, one of the included Ethernet ports is a WAN port. So for us, only 3 of these ports are usable. We're using all of them at the moment, so we might need to buy a bit of extra hardware, like a switch or something like that. If we ever have any more devices, we want to plug into the router directly. And you might need to do the same. If you have more than 3 computers, games consoles, or TV boxes, like Sky Q, that you want to connect to the router with an Ethernet cable. So Sky's router performs pretty well, but given its performance, and Sky Broadband's pricing, are their deals good value for money? Sky Broadband is generally pretty cheap, so let's look at their pricing at the moment, compared to other similar providers. If you want 150 megabits per second, this is £28 a month with Sky at the moment, including their Max Hub router, with Wi-Fi 6. With EE Broadband, the price is very similar, just a tiny bit more expensive, at £30 a month. There's no upfront cost with either provider, and you get the same 24-month contract length. And also with EE, you get their Smart Hub Plus router, which performs about the same as the Sky Max Hub. It also comes with Wi-Fi 6, and from our testing, offers pretty similar Wi-Fi coverage and speeds, compared to Sky's router. So generally, we think Sky Broadband, with this router, does offer pretty good value for money. Although the Max Hub isn't the best router on the market, for example, EE also offers a Wi-Fi 7 router on their fastest plans, giving you even better speeds and signal. The Sky Max Hub performs really well, even if you have a pretty decent sized house. And given how this router performs, Sky's monthly costs are pretty reasonable, even if you want ultra fast download speeds of 500 or 900 megabits per second. Click the links in the description to the EE and Sky Broadband websites to compare their deals and see which offers better value for money when you're considering buying. We think Sky Broadband is definitely worth considering. Their prices are very reasonable, there's no upfront costs, and their router performs pretty well. The Sky Max Hub is pretty locked down, and we don't like that you have to install their app to set up things like parental controls, but this is pretty common, and most other major providers do this. It's also worth mentioning, Sky is a really good choice if you want cable TV, and they also include a landline connection by default, in case you want that. A lot of other providers charge extra for this at the moment. The only real downside to Sky is their speeds top out at 900 megabits per second at the moment. With EE, you can get a speed of up to 1.6 gigabits per second on their fastest plan, including their better Wi-Fi 7 router, although these deals are quite expensive. Remember, click the link in the description to come to the Sky Broadband website and put in your postcode to see what deals they're offering at the moment. And if you're a Sky customer and you use their Max Hub router, let us know what they're like in the comments below. And also, feel free to ask us if you have any questions about this router or about Sky Broadband more generally, and we'll get back to you as soon as we can.